In previous lectures, we have discussed consumer attitude, perception, learning. So now we are going to understand how to develop persuasive messages to influence consumers. A message is the thought, idea, attitude, image, or any other information that the sender wishes to convey to the intended audience. It can be verbal, that is spoken or written, non-verbal, an image or a symbol, or a combination of the two. The objectives of a persuasive message include creating awareness of a service, promoting sales of a product, encouraging certain practices, attracting retail, reducing post-purchase dissonance, creating goodwill or a favorable image. And it also can be a combination of all these other communication objectives. The source of the message must encode the message in such a way that its meaning is interpreted by the target audience in precisely the intended way. Marketers encode messages by using words, pictures, symbols, spokespersons, and special channels. The message receivers decode the messages they receive on the basis of their own personal experiences, characteristics, and motives. Messages that depict images are considered more attractive and more effective in comparison to the messages that have a lot of text. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The ad for Mystique tissue in this figure conveys the product's purpose and effectiveness mostly visually rather than verbally. Many studies have investigated the interaction between visual and verbal cues and their ability to attract and capture customers' attention in likable ways. One study showed that ads' visual complexity plays a central role in this regard. Advertisements are visually complex when they contain dense perceptual features and when they have elaborate creative designs. Sometimes marketers are influenced by the same economic, social, and cultural conditions and thus use similar phrases reflecting these conditions in their advertising copy. Should a marketer focus on the benefits that will be lost if a particular product is not used, that is negative framing, or should a marketer stress on the benefits that will be gained from the use of the product, that is positive framing? Research suggests that the appropriate message framing decision depends on the consumer's attitude and characteristics, as well as the product itself. A study of advertised products that enable the early detection of disease indicated that positively framed anecdotal messages were less persuasive than negatively framed anecdotal messages. Another study discovered that negative message framing was more effective than positive framing when respondents had less opportunity to process the information in the ad, but less effective when respondents had more opportunity to process the ad content. Should a marketer pretend that the product is only one of a kind, that is, to give out a one-sided message? Or should the company acknowledge competing brands, that is, use a two-sided message? Some marketers stress only positive factors about their products and pretend that competition does not exist. However, when competition does exist and when it is likely to be vocal or obvious, such advertisers tend to lose credibility with the consumer. The credibility of an advertised claim can often be enhanced by disclaiming the superiority of the product features or by not claiming that the product is a universal solution. For example, an ad for a men's hair growth product may state that after clinical testing, whereas almost half the men using the product experienced modest to dense hair regrowth, about a one-third experienced minimal hair regrowth, and about one-sixth had no regrowth whatsoever. The admission that the product did not always work enhances the credibility of the ad. The decision of whether to use a one or two-sided message also depends on the nature of the audience and competition. If the audience is friendly, for example, if it uses the advertiser's product, if it initially favors the communicator's position, or if it is not likely to hear an opposing argument, then a one-sided, supportive message that stresses only favorable information is most effective. However, if the audience is critical or unfriendly, if it is well educated, then a two-sided message is likely to be more effective. Two-sided messages can also be very effective when consumers are likely to see competitors' negative counterclaims or when their predispositions toward the brand are negative. Is it best for your commercial to be present first or last? Communication researchers have found that the order in which a message is presented affects audience receptivity. For example, on TV, the commercials shown first are recalled the best, whereas those in the middle are recalled the least. When just two competing messages are present, one after the other, the evidence as to which position is more effective is somewhat conflicting. Some researchers have found that the material presented first produces a greater effect, that is, primacy effect. Others have found that the material presented last is more effective, that is, a recency effect. Magazine publishers recognize the impact of order effects by charging more for ads on the front, back, and inside covers of the magazines than for the inside magazine pages because of their greater visibility and recall. Order is also important in listing product benefits within an ad. If audience interest is low, the most important point should be made first to attract attention. However, if interest is high, it is not necessary to build up curiosity. So product benefits can be arranged in ascending order with the most important point mentioned last. When both favorable information and unfavorable information are to be presented, placing the favorable material first often produces greater tolerance for the unfavorable news.